Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empower Hour. I'm Lotika, Chief Small Business Officer with the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, also known as BACP. This webinar series is meant to provide businesses and consumers with information they need in order to succeed by sharing advice and stories from Chicago's entrepreneurs. Today's guest is fueling Chicagoans with healthy and delicious smoothies. With us today is Candice Payne, owner of Smoothie RX. Let's get right to it and learn the ingredients for a successful business. Good afternoon, Candice. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be here today.
So, before we get into questions about the business, can you tell our webinar attendees a little bit about yourself?
No problem, no problem. So, my name's Candice Payne. I am a Chicago native. I'm a realtor. I'm an investor. I am a serial entrepreneur, which means I own several businesses, including the Smoothie RX Chicago here. It's located, excuse me, in River North. Um, it's not easy to do this by yourself. I do have a team, family is also included with this along with other partners. But been in Chicago all my life, born and raised from the south side of Chicago. I run, like I stated, several different businesses and non for profits. I have two non for profits that I run, and I'm very passionate about creating opportunities, whether that's in health, housing, business, entrepreneurship, or just, consulting with others who's trying to do the same thing.
Wow, Candace, that is a multifaceted, multidimensional experience that you've shared with us. So thank you for that. What a powerhouse. So behind every business, right, Candace, there's a story. What inspired you to open Smoothie RX?
So it's a couple things that inspired the opening of Smoothie RX. I did, at first we did want to create a place where health meets community. We see too many people all the time just grabbing fast food. We know what the food kind of does to our body, but it hit home for me. Both parents, my mom and my dad, both died from diseases. They died from cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes. So at the age I was at when they passed, I really didn't understand the effect of why it happened. And as I got into um, really kind of doing more research, me, my at the time, my boyfriend, we both was kind of like on this health journey, and me understanding that the food that my parents was intaking, the sugar, the excessive amount of pop, and it hindered their health. And so it drove us to Smoothie RX. We wanted to have healthy options. At this time, my father was still alive, but he was going through cancer while we were opening the space. And we knew that we wanted to get him on a better regimen with juicing, utilizing fruits and vegetables to actually fuel the body and to heal the body. He did pass before we opened up Smoothie RX, but it still didn't kill the mission. This is a lifestyle. I'm 100% vegan. I eat nothing from an animal, and juicing regularly, drinking smoothies. It is part of the lifestyle itself. So that's kind of what inspired, and it also helps us educate the community and educate children through our non-for-profit on nutrition and how to eat properly and eat right.
Thank you, Candace, for sharing that very personal story and kind of describing the genesis of why Smoothie RX.
Yeah,
We really appreciate that.
no problem.
So, it's summertime. Smoothies tend to be very cool and refreshing. So, can you, expand a little? You touched upon it a little bit, but can you expand a little bit more on some of the health benefits of smoothies at Smoothie RX?
Oh, absolutely. So we're not just like a regular smoothie shop. Like, you may go into just a regular smoothie shop and pick out your fruits and whatever your juices that you want to put in there. We actually curate our smoothies and our recipes to balance flavor with function. Our ingredients is 100% organic, they're non-GMO, but we also utilize, we call them injections. But if it's in on here, they'll understand. We utilize different, we call it injections, but it's herb powders to increase the medicinal properties of the smoothies. We put sea moss in every one of our smoothies. So if anyone don't know what sea moss is, sea moss basically is like a superfood out of the ocean. So your body itself is made up of about 102 minerals. Sea moss has 92 of those 102 minerals in it. So we make sure that we put that in every one of the actual smoothies. Now, depending on what a customer may want, if they want more energy, we may suggest ashwagandha. If they're looking for a smoothie to become a little bit more um, impact with more nutrients, we may recommend moringa. We have over 15 different what we call injections to increase those medicinal properties of the smoothies. So you get a bigger benefit when you're drinking our smoothies.
Wow, I love that, balancing flavor and nutrition, like how you frame that alongside with these medicinal shots into something that can be very nourishing, yet very healthy and very tasty. Definitely inspires me to hop over there during the summer now. So,
Absolutely.
Candice, you're located in River North. The brick and mortar for Smoothie RX is in River North. Can you
Correct.
walk us through and to all our attendees on the call today, your site selection process and what made you decide on River North?
Okay, give me 1 second because I got a pop-up just popped up on the screen from, okay, there you go. I can see you now. So we started off in South Loop on 15th and Michigan. And then we decided to go from South Loop to River North. So we chose River North because it's a hub. It has residents, it's professionals, it's tourists that flow through the area. So it gave Smoothie RX more of a chance to serve a diverse audience while positioning us as part of the Chicago's vibrant wellness culture. Now, I would say by me being from the south side of Chicago, I see a huge need for Smoothie RX on the south side of Chicago. And we are looking actively for another location to bring Smoothie RX to the south side. The south side has more of a food desert. And not saying that it's not restaurants placed everywhere, but it is a little bit more difficult for us to go out and get something healthy on the south side versus the River North area. The River North area, every other corner, it's a different option for food, whatever kind of genre of food you want. So we do see an opportunity on the south side where we can come and also serve the community on the south side. So that's what we're looking for. And that site selection really just came based off of um, a need. It's a need for it.
That is wonderful. And we look forward to hopefully celebrating a new location of Smoothie RX in the future in the South Side.
Thank you.
Um, so, Candice, you mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about flavor and nutrition and balancing the two. What you put in a smoothie or a meal, the ingredients make all the difference.
Mhm.
So, from a business perspective, how do you create these smoothie combinations? And also, then, how do you source your ingredients that go into your business at Smoothie RX?
Well, with the ingredients itself, because we're always looking for vendors who offer the non-GMO, who offer all organic when it comes to us sourcing different ingredients. But when it comes to like our herb powders, we have special vendors that we go to that specifically specialize in those herb powders, and that's where we buy them from. So anything from maca, moringa, lion's mane, all of these different herbs do something different to the body. And so that's what we actually like to put into the actual smoothies to get all of your nutrition while you're drinking something delicious.
that sounds wonderful. But you sound so dynamic, Candice. You
Oh,
have multiple businesses that you run and manage in addition to Smoothie RX. Can you like briefly talk a little bit more about your other business ventures so that our audience gets a full picture of who is Candice Payne?
oh, no, no problem, no problem. So I've been in real estate for about 20 years. So all of the businesses that we have, they have a common thread. I create solutions where I see gaps. So the real estate business, Fifth Group Realty, that's more of real estate broker. I'm helping people find and sell homes. I also own Greystone Mortgage Bank, and that has everything to do with business funding and real estate funding. So I can help offer solutions to entrepreneurs who's looking to either expand their business or get business funding, or they're looking to, get into having their own brick and mortar, and they need funding or financing for that. Action for a Cause not for profit. We serve as victims of violence. We serve as the homeless. We do a lot of work in the community. Work Ready Chicago, which is the other non for profit, is a workforce development um, non for profit. So we focus on youth development also, giving youth the skills that they need in order to succeed. So it comes with a lot of a servitude when I look at the businesses that I have. Smoothie RX, wellness and health. It ties in all together.
Wow, creating solutions where you see gaps. You know, it's it, it's easy to say, but it's very hard to do. And you've not only said it, but you've actually demonstrated and done it and, kind of crafted a path through all these different, whether it's through your for-profit arms of Smoothie RX or your real estate business or through your not-for-profit. So really big congratulations and kudos to you on that achievement.
I appreciate that. One thing I will say, because you can look at this and it can look like, oh, it's a lot. And I'm 40 years old, and I call it a highway of learning and success. You jump on and off this highway. And I've been jumping on and off the highway for over 20 years. You learn something, you master it, you get back on the highway, you get back off, you learn something else. And that's the approach that I took with my real estate career. Um, with real estate, I'm not just one dimensional. Like I'm just not a realtor. I don't just sell homes. I'm very I say multiplexed when it comes to real estate itself. So, I am a realtor, I'm an investor, I do Airbnb, I can design, I can project manage, I can do construction management, I can build. I can So when it comes to the real estate, that I was on and off that their highway. And it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with the restaurant business. On and off the highway because Smoothie RX is not just a smoothie and juice bar. We are a full service cafe. We have vegan food, we have regular food, we have a whole, we service lattes, coffee. Um, so it's a full service cafe. I know a lot of times people look at it and think just because of the name, it's just a smoothie bar. But no, we are full circle.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
expanding on that. Again, it helps for everyone to get a full picture of what you've done and what you're doing.
No problem.
And Candice, you've done some amazing work in the community. In 2019, when the city was in the grip of a polar vortex, you stepped up and you used your own money to put over 100 homeless people in hotels during that time. You know, there was definitely the cold, but what else was there? What was the driving force behind that incredibly generous offer?
I don't think it was cold outside, but it really wasn't about it just being cold. It was also about humanity. I saw people literally going to be freezing outside, and couldn't ignore it. And during at that time, you know, it was a collective effort. There was no way that I could have done that alone, right? A lot of people from social media came aboard. At the time, my boyfriend Carlos Callahan, I think he just popped in. It was, we were really just discussing like, let's close down all the businesses. But what's going to happen to the homeless that's out on the street? You know what? Let's just go and get some hotels. Didn't think much of it. We didn't even have transportation for them. But at the time itself, it just felt like the right thing to do. And, we were probably only going to be able to help maybe about 10, 15. With the impact and the help of social media and people putting it out there, it allowed us to um, take 122 homeless people off the street for 5 days during negative 50-degree weather in Chicago. So it was really about, again, humanity.
No, again, that is such an incredibly humane gesture, and then also it says a lot about you as an individual as well. It's about giving back to the community, giving back to people that you see who are in need. And I think, if I'm correct, your efforts during the polar vortex also earned you the opportunity to be on the Ellen show. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Absolutely. So with those efforts, it wasn't just the Ellen show. It was so many shows reaching out. It was so many different interviews. It was BET Awards, Walmart. It was so many people or organizations that this story touched. But being on the Ellen show, it gave me a platform to show the power of taking action. Sometimes one decision can have a ripple effect, and it can inspire a lot of people to do some of the same things. So once that happened and that story went viral, it showed me a lot of people taking action. They were actually going out helping the homeless more. Because a lot of times when you walk past, especially in Chicago, they're everywhere. So you really don't think twice about it. You just walk right past them. I think it made people a little bit more aware of, what? Someone's hungry, let me go and feed them. It's cold outside. I think we can put together and house some of them. And some of those stories start going, not as viral as mine, but I did start seeing them pick up on social media. So I think that being on Ellen, it helped spread the actual story. And it taught me that entrepreneurship and service goes hand in hand, because for 5 days, being in a hotel from sun up, sundown, breakfast, lunch, dinner, to 122 strangers, and it's about 15, 20 of us doing this. When I looked around, majority of everyone who was in that hotel with me were entrepreneurs. Maybe one or two people were calling off work, but outside of that, they owned their own time and they were able to contribute in that manner.
That's so, Candice, running a small business is a challenge, and you run multiple small businesses. So, from where you sit, what have been some of your biggest challenges, and how did you overcome them as an entrepreneur?
Oh, some of the biggest challenges. I'm gonna take this two ways. Capital, especially when you're a small business, capital hurdles can have your business not grow as fast as you would like. And when I say capital, having access to capital or having access to the proper funding. So it was important for me to understand and learn and know about business funding and how to utilize that as a tool to overcome certain hurdles in business. Um, I would also say, self, not self doubting. I know I want to do this, but can I really do this? And overcoming that, because that's internal. No one else can do that for you. So that's internal. That's an internal thought process that you have to tackle. So I can have all these big visions, but if fear has me in a place where I don't take advantage or I don't move, then that's a hurdle that I have to get over. And how I get over that is I doodle. So sometimes people, especially entrepreneurs, we have so much going on in our head. We're thinking about so much, and we have a checklist for the checklist, a to-do list for the to-do list. And for me, I would have to stop, grab a notepad, and just write everything that I'm thinking. And that might even take me 10, 15 minutes because as you're writing, then you're coming up with solutions for what you're writing that was in your head. And so that maybe I go 10, 15, 20 minutes and then afterwards, I feel so relieved. So I challenge other entrepreneurs when you have that, your mind is boggled and you're everywhere, you got to this, and this, just stop, write it down because once you can see it, then you can understand, hey, maybe I can delegate these items here because this may not be worth my time, or I can pay someone X amount of dollars to do this list of stuff that I need to do. Um, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, especially if you don't have all the capital, you wear a whole bunch of hats in your business. So you're the marketing person, you're the advertising person, you're the social media person, you're the manager, you're the hiring person, you're all these different titles. And it can get hard and it can get difficult and it can also get overwhelming. So stop, put it all down on paper, and then when you can see it, you can strategize a little better. I don't know. I can't even remember your question. I just got to talking.
No, I think what you said was fantastic. You really very clearly articulated analysis paralysis that a lot of entrepreneurs face. And I love this idea of writing down, organizing your tasks, prioritizing them, and then delegating the ones that are not critical that can be delegated. So I think you framed that very eloquently for our listeners today. So
Okay,
thank you for sharing your little nuggets of wisdom
not a
with
problem.
us.
Not a problem.
Uh, so, you briefly touched on as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything, right? Everything from being the marketing and social media person to being the accountant. So, kind of diving into that a little bit, what is your current marketing and promotion strategy for Smoothie RX? And has that evolved since you started the business?
Um, it definitely has evolved. When you're working inside of the business, you're a student. You're learning, especially when you're hands on. It's a difference when you go and buy into a franchise and they have everything. They got your whole Bible and your whole playbook. Versus when you're starting your own business and you're creating your own Bible and your own playbook from scratch. And with marketing, what we you think about marketing, but you don't think about branding as an entrepreneur. So what I learned is that marketing and branding, two separate things. You can spend money just to make yourself visible, and that money that you spent doesn't necessarily bring back a certain dollar amount. It was just branding and exposure for your brand. And so understanding it's two different things, and watching how what I would call the big boys, how they do some of their marketing and some of their events, it made me realize, you know what, I didn't have a branding budget. I didn't even think about an advertising budget. So marketing, advertising, and branding, three different budgets. Going in, you think that, hey, I'm gonna use social media, post some things, and people are gonna like it. You got to understand, you want to use social media as a force, you need to have money behind ads in order to force your brand in front of people. And so, learning that, coming from where we opened up at in South Loop, going to River North, because we've only been in River North for a year. We were in South Loop for 3 years, but we had a different mindset and a different game plan going into River North. We knew that we need to spend X amount of dollars to be able to set up at different I can't even think of what you call those, like the Taste of River North, different events, right?
Mhm.
In the summertime, Shy, it is events going on everywhere, and they want you as entrepreneurs or whatever type of business, they want you to come and set up a tent so you can do promotions and all of this stuff. So we had to make sure that we were prepared for summertime Chicago to be able to get our brand and all of these different events, to have employees to be able to be at all these different events, to be able to have a vehicle to load up the car to be at these different events. So it became a little bit, it becomes, it's just different levels of the marketing that we realized that we needed. And so, yes, it started from social media, but we do know that storytelling is really big. You mentioned that, coming onto this call, that people connect with why we exist. And so when telling the story of Smoothie RX, that connection itself is my parents, and them passing from diseases. And let's just be honest, we normalize medication. We normalize being sick. Did you take your medicine? Did you go pick up your prescription? It's normal, and it's normal in our community, and I'm pretty sure it's normal in other communities also. And so, and I forgot your question again, but yeah.
You're doing great. I think we're getting into food as medicine right now.
It's medicine. Food is definitely medicine.
Yeah. And again, I think from what you said, just kind of really framing for our audience today the difference between branding, marketing, advertising, and ensuring that as they are thinking about their entrepreneurial ventures, really having budgeted for the expenditures that could come from those three very distinct tasks.
Yeah.
So, really appreciate you sharing that because I think sometimes you don't know it till you're in it, and learning from someone who's experienced it is incredibly valuable.
Okay. I appreciate that.
So, Candice, we, BACP as a department, we have partnerships with over 65 neighborhood business development centers across Chicago. These are your chambers of commerce, these are your business service organizations. Have you, by any chance, worked with any of them?
I have the Chamber of Commerce. We have definitely utilized them. Um, and then a couple of other organizations. We've won a grant before through the
Mhm.
city of Chicago. I do a lot of grants though through the non-for-profit organizations.
Mhm.
Um, before profit, we won a grant for through the real estate. It is I think it's the CDG, the Community Development Grant. So
Yeah,
that's, I tell entrepreneurs about that because if you are interested in your own brick and mortar, even if you're not purchasing it,
yeah,
if you're just leasing or renting it, the space itself, the city of Chicago has grants for you to go in and actually renovate that space. And
yeah,
the minimum I think it's like up to 250,000. That's just a small grant. You know,
yeah.
depending on how big your vision is, it can go up from there. So yes, I do use those resources.
Yeah. No, congratulations on being awarded the Community Development Grant. I think that is such a great tool to do physical infrastructure improvement. Like, it's like a construction subsidy that the city gives to improve your physical brick and mortar retail. So I'm really glad you were able to access some of that funding. And our partners in the community that we work with really do help entrepreneurs not just be aware of these grants, but also access them. So
Oh,
congratulations on that. So this month, Candice, August is Black Business Month. What are the ways, if any, your business or you personally are recognizing and celebrating the month?
you know, for me, every month is Black
I
History.
agree. I
You
agree.
know,
Every month.
representation matters, but
Totally. Yeah.
I didn't realize that until you sent me the email. Like, oh, okay, so we didn't really do nothing different. Um, we didn't do nothing different this month itself. But because like I stated, every month is that for us. I do have one of the owners of Smoothie RX. That's who popped in. I seen your face. He's actually on here also. His name's Carlos. But he did pop in on here. But it was nothing different that we did this month. I think the month isn't over with though. We probably got another week in here if we want to run some type of specials or do some type of meetup event for entrepreneurs. If you have a lot of entrepreneurs on here Mondays, we can do it. We do a entrepreneur meetup at Smoothie RX. So you can just come, bring your laptop, work from there, have your coffee, your breakfast, but you get to network with other individuals. We're definitely open to that.
Sounds wonderful. So now let's talk about the future. What is your vision for Smoothie RX? I know you're looking to expand, which we're very excited to hear about. But what is your overall vision for Smoothie RX and maybe your other ventures as well?
Okay. I think the vision itself for Smoothie RX is definitely it's expansion. We've talked about, franchising because of how the branding is. And branding is very important, but because of how our branding is, when you come into Smoothie RX, people already think it's a franchise. From the color selection to the logo to the menu selection. So people already feel like and think that it's a franchise and want to know where our other locations are at. And we have people who's also interested in opening up their own Smoothie RXs. So for us, that is the vision. We definitely want we want a we want a presence on the south side. That's where we both grew up at. I have, and also Carlos has, also both on the south side. We want a presence on the south side itself, and then we want to go to the west side. We want Smoothie RX to be a household name. For the other ventures, more housing, more access to funding, more community programs. With the non-for-profits, we look to service more individuals in our communities. So yeah.
That's great. And again, Candice, thank you so much for sharing your business story with our attendees. And I want to transition a little bit more towards the personal side. Since you're running multiple businesses, what do you like to do to relax?
Um, I like water. I like to travel. I like comedy shows because they kind of take my mind off of whatever you're thinking about. Laughter is really good. Um, what else do I like to do spare time? I mean, you know what? My happy place itself is traveling, and then execution. If I have something that I'm planning on that I know I need to get done, execution is real big. Um, and that is part of my relaxation.
That's great. What is your favorite smoothie on the menu right now?
My favorite smoothie, I don't think it would be a smoothie. My favorite thing is an acai bowl. I can eat those every day. So if you don't know what acai bowl is, it's like a berry from Brazil. It's like a sorbet, and we top it with like granola and almonds and almond butter and bananas and strawberries, blueberries, kiwis. It's so good. It's such a fulfilling meal. So therefore, I pick that over a smoothie all the time.
That sounds wonderful. I know you have already shared a lot of nuggets of wisdom with our attendees today, but since this webinar is titled Empower Hour, can you please share one piece of advice that you think can empower our attendees?
Yeah. Start where you are. Use what you have. Never wait for perfect conditions. Your story is your power. Own it and let it open doors for you. A lot of times procrastination keep us in the same place.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Could you also provide the physical address of your brick and mortar, your social media handle, and your website for our attendees?
Sure. It is the social media is at Smoothie RX Chicago. The website is smoothierxchicago.com. We're located at 643 North Wells Street, right off the expressway.
I'm
That
so
is great.
it's just Smoothie RX. The social media is just Smoothie RX. I was just gonna mind my business, but we can't give the wrong social media out. It's just Smoothie RX.
Thank you, sir, for jumping in and clarifying. You're absolutely right. We do not want to direct people to a different website. So thank you. Um, so I would love, Candice, if you could stay on a little bit longer so that we can take questions from the audience. And I'm going to turn it over to Stella.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Great story, Candice. I was definitely paying attention. When I realized that it was you who helped those people when we had all that cold weather, I was like, oh my God, we got a good one this time. There's a lot of thank yous in the chat box.
Thank you.
Saying congratulations on your success. And someone has taken the time to oh, that was your person, to post your appearances on TV, WGN. So here's a good question. Well, somebody commented on your skin, how great it looks.
Oh, thank you. So I used to own a med spa in South Loop. I had one of the biggest med spas, Black owned med spas in South Loop. We closed that down maybe about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And one of the things is that we did a lot of skincare. I didn't go to school to be an esthetician, but I learned a lot from my estheticians in that business. Um, and then also, what goes in your body matters. I don't drink pop. I don't drink juice. It's always only water. I tried to stay away from acidic foods. But yeah.
It says, first question, this webinar celebrates Black Business Month. What does Black excellence in entrepreneurship mean to you?
What does Black excellence in entrepreneurship mean? It means obstacles that we've overcame. It was a point in time when we didn't have these opportunities. So, and it also means that you're willing to at least reach back and help someone else. Learn from either whatever your mistakes are, learn from your successes. I think that's how we can pay it forward. Because a lot of times people learn more from their mistakes than their successes. I know I've had some costly mistakes that's been made throughout this lifetime that I would bet 100% someone want to learn from, just so they won't make those same mistakes.
What kind of storytelling partnerships or community engagement have been most powerful in amplifying your mission?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What kind of storytelling partnerships or community engagement have been most powerful in amplifying your mission?
Are we speaking of Smoothie RX or just overall?
I believe they're saying overall.
Overall, I think that, the homeless, advocating for the homeless, doing what we did during the polar vortex, it helped us grow action for a cause. I always had the non-for-profit, just didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Had something, didn't know how to help. And that particular, the polar vortex allowed us to have a mission that we could grow off of, because it didn't just stop there. You all seen us, get them off the streets. But during those 5 days, it was also life changing for us, because it was like eye opening that we talk to these people and they have so many different stories and so many different reasons of why they are homeless. And the misconception is, oh, they're homeless because they're drug addicts. They're homeless because they lazy. They don't want to work, and all different, misconceptions in your head. And to go through those 5 days and really kind of speaking to people and talking to people and understanding their stories, it was touching for us, where we wanted to do something just a little bit more permanent, because on Friday we got to let them back off to the streets, to the cold. And so from that, it derived from us actually exploring housing. And we took several people from the shelters, took them out of shelters and gave them their own apartments and furnished the apartments and buildings that we actually have renovated. So I would say that story itself helped.
Next question. What time is it? Okay, we're good on time. How do you recruit your staff, and do you work with young people?
Do we work with young people? Yes, I just finished up about a week and a half ago with one summer Chicago. We had about 90 kids that we mentored, that we brought in for a 6-week program, and I taught the culinary and opening up a restaurant to these young adults. They were young, inspiring entrepreneurs. And at the end of my program, one of the things was I needed them to come and make the wraps and smoothies and salads. So they came to actual Smoothie RX. They came and cooked or prepared food, and we took them out to um, the homeless camps. I would say like the tent city or under the viaducts, and we allow the young adults to go and I'm gonna say young adults, they're teenagers, 14, 15. The young people to go and actually hand out the food to the homeless. And we had a conversation with them. And one of the girls, she said, it's good for us to see this because we never been open to this. We ride past this, but we've never been able to come and actually do this. And I actually liked it. And so that right there was like, okay, at least this part here, this what they'll remember and they'll take away from this program. Amongst all the other things that I taught them, but they will remember this here because of the impact it had to them. And I had to go over with them their misconceptions, and I had all of the kids kind of give me misconceptions about what they thought about the homeless, and I corrected them and gave them, information that they didn't have.
Okay. Someone wants to know, are you on LinkedIn? And if so, can you share that information?
I'm on LinkedIn under my name. I'm not that active on LinkedIn though. I'm not as active as I should be, put it that way. But I am on LinkedIn.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you look in the chat box, all of the answers to your questions is in the chat box thanks to her partner. Someone said something about her glowing skin. He gave you the link as to why her skin is glowing.
Yeah, he's gonna kill me for that. So we actually have it's called Power Serum. I mean, Carlos want to come off and talk about it, but it is a serum that we created. It has about 8 cold pressed oils in it, and that's what we actually use. It has natural SPF in it also. So that's actually what I've been using for years. We sell that also at Smoothie RX and on the website. A lot of people live by that, especially if you travel or you're in the sun a lot and you're used to putting on all these different chemicals from sunscreen. This here is a lot more natural way, and it glow. It keeps your skin glowy and healthy and hydrated. I forgot about that. You see?
And then, it's gonna be a lot of misconceptions about putting the oil on your face. Like, no, my person told me don't put oil on the face. My dermatologist said this, but they wasn't talking about cold press oils. They're talking about refined oils and things of that sort. They got a lot of impurities in them and things of that sort. The cold press oil is all natural. It's been heated at a very low heat source to extract the oil, and it keeps all the nature's purities and all of the nutrients in it, and it's able to extract out all of the or a lot of inflammation. It's going to get rid of discoloration and psoriasis, eczema, things of that sort. And then it's again, it got so many different oils in it. You can even use it when you're sick. You can use it internally. You can take a teaspoon of it. You can put it in your hair. It's really for almost everything. And that's all we've used since 2000, I think maybe 19 or so.
I think this is a good question. This will be our last question because we're running low on time. Candice, What do you wish more Black women in business knew about protecting their brand equity early on?
About protecting their brand equity? Well, first off, are they doing patent on their, not just their name, but their logo also? Whatever type of slogans that they have, trademarking, and patent. That is their, because that's their property also. And a lot of times we have these great ideas and we just put them out there. But we do have other people that's smarter than us that we're going to snatch some of our stuff up. So yeah, trademarking and patent, their brand, their logo, their names, their slogans.
Okay, Lotika, that is it. Do you have any final words for Miss Candice?
Yes, thank you. Really want to thank you, Candice. This was such an engaging conversation. I think you have tied entrepreneurship and a service mindset for us today here at the city and also for all our attendees today. So really thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing that. Really enjoyed speaking to you. And I'm sure, as you can attest from all the comments in the chat, people really enjoyed listening to you as well. So really appreciate your time here today with us. And we look forward to Smoothie RX expanding and watching your progress as you know, hop on and hop off that highway multiple more times over the next, decades. So really enjoyed you having you on Empower Hour today. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
And I also wanted to thank all of our attendees for joining today's Empower Hour. You can watch today's Empower Hour on our YouTube channel by visiting youtube.com/Chicago BACP. And for more information about our next Empower Hour, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Thank you all very much.